Hello, friends! Welcome back to Get Your Play Online. My name is Sarah, and if you've noticed, I'm in a different place today. I am on vacation with my family, so I'm in North Carolina right now. And our theme here at Get Your Play Online this week is animals. So I have some special friends joining us for tonight's bedtime story. So in the background here, you'll see that we have our turtle from our Finding Nemo movies. So this is Crush from Finding Nemo. And oh, look, here he is too. So he's going to be here joining us for our bedtime story. We also have Nemo. So Nemo will be listening to our bedtime story too. And we have Dory. Dory will be listening to our bedtime story. And we have Little Squirt. Squirt will go right here with Crush. So Squirt will be listening to our bedtime story too. So we have lots of friends joining us for our bedtime story tonight because it is Animal Week and Zoo Week here at Get Your Play Online. So I'm just going to put my friends down here off to the side. They're going to listen to our story as I read to them and to you tonight. So, if we haven't met before, my name is Sarah, and I'm so glad that you're here. Um, Tonight I'm going to be reading a book to you. It is not about animals, but it is a super fun book, and I think you'll really like it. So I'm excited to read it to you. So, this is a story that I think a lot of you might already know, but if you don't already know it, it's a really good one, and I think you'll really, really like it. So, let's take a look at our cover. This is what it looks like. It's called Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. So you might have heard this story already. You might have seen the movie about it. You might have read a book with some different pictures in it. This is actually an older version of the book. It was written in, let me look. It was written in 1978. That's as old as some of your parents. Can you believe it? So this is a pretty old story, but it's a really good one. It's pretty funny. So let's get started, all right? Let's get reading. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. All right, so you can see on the cover, here we have a guy holding out his plate, and a meatball is falling from the sky onto his plate. I wonder what that's about. Meatballs don't usually fall from the sky. See if we can figure out what's happening. And if you already know what's happening, don't tell. All right. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Written by Judi Barrett and drawn by Ron Barrett. We were all sitting around the big kitchen table. It was Saturday morning, pancake morning. Mom was squeezing oranges for juice. Henry and I were betting on how many pancakes we each could eat, and Grandpa was doing the flipping. All right, so it seems like a normal day so far. They're just making breakfast. He's flipping pancakes. Everything seems normal. Let's see what happens. Seconds later, something flew through the air and headed toward the kitchen ceiling. What do you think it is? And landed right on Henry. I think it's a pancake. After we realized that the flying object was only a pancake, we all laughed, even Grandpa. Breakfast continued quite uneventfully. All the other pancakes landed in the pan, and all of them were eaten, even the one that landed on Henry. That night, touched off by the pancake incident at breakfast, Grandpa told us the best tall tale bedtime story he'd ever told. Do you know what a tall tale is? A tall tale is like a made-up story using your imagination with stuff that's like exaggerated and made up and just imaginary. So this is going to be a pretty exciting story. I'm ready to hear Grandpa's bedtime story. This is going to be good. Ready? Across the ocean, over lots of huge bumpy mountains, across 3 hot deserts and 1 smaller ocean, there lay the tiny town of Chew and Swallow. Chew and Swallow. Chew and swallow. Those sound like things you do when you're eating. It sounds like maybe something in the town is going to be about food. Do you think? Let's see. Let's keep on reading. Chew and swallow. In most ways, it was very much like any other town. It had a main street lined with stores, houses with trees, and gardens around them. Let me get you closer there. And a schoolhouse, about 300 people, and some assorted cats and dogs. You can see it looks like a normal town. But there were no food stores in the town of Chew and Swallow. Huh? That's pretty strange. Where would they get their food from? They didn't need any. The sky supplied all the food they could possibly want. The only thing that was really different about Chew and Swallow was its weather. It came 3 times a day, at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Everything that everyone ate came from the sky. So the food comes down from the sky? That's crazy. Look at this picture. There's burgers falling down. Whoa, what in the world? Whatever the weather served, that was what they ate. But it never rained rain. It never snowed snow. And it never blew just wind. It rained things like soup and juice. It snowed mashed potatoes and green peas. And sometimes the wind blew in storms of hamburgers. Oh my gosh, that is some crazy weather for it to rain soup and juice to come down from the sky. That's a crazy town. Wow. The people could watch the weather report on television in the morning, and they would even hear a prediction for the next day's food. When the townspeople went outside, they carried their plates, cups, glasses, forks, spoons, knives, and napkins with them. That way, they would always be prepared for any kind of weather. If there were leftovers, and there usually were, the people took them home and put them in their refrigerators in case they got hungry between meals. So let's look at these pictures. So here you can see one where a lady is in her car and it's raining pancakes. So she puts her arm out the window and she sticks a plate out the window and she catches the pancake on the plate. And here you can see one where it looks like it's a baseball game and the players are just taking a break from the game just to eat some cake that's falling from the sky. And down here, you can see that a lady is running to grab some chicken legs that are falling from the sky. And I think this is my favorite one. Here, a girl is holding an umbrella upside down to catch some orange juice that's falling from the sky, and she's using a straw to drink out of her umbrella, and her dog is drinking it too. It's pretty funny. The menu varied. By the time they woke up in the morning, breakfast was coming down. After a brief shower of orange juice, low clouds of sunny-side-up eggs moved in, followed by pieces of toast. Butter and jelly sprinkled down for the toast, and most of the time it rained milk afterwards. For lunch one day, Frankfurters, already in their rolls, blew in from the northwest at about 5 miles per hour. There were mustard clouds nearby. Then the wind shifted to the east and brought in baked beans. A drizzle of soda finished off the meal. That's funny. So look, here's a restaurant, and there's no roof on the restaurant. So all the food can just come right on down and just go onto people's plates. That's chew and swallow. That's how their town works. Dinner one night consisted of lamb chops, becoming heavy at times with occasional ketchup. Periods of peas and baked potatoes were followed by gradual clearing with wonderful jello setting in the west. Would you like to live in the town of Chew and Swallow? Would you like to live there? Would you like to have food coming down from the sky? I think I would like that. I think that would be really fun. That would be cool, but you couldn't choose what you wanted to eat. You would just have to eat whatever came down from the sky. So if you don't like peas, but peas is what was coming down from the sky, you just have to eat peas. You wouldn't really have a choice. The sanitation department of Chew and Swallow had a rather unusual job for a sanitation department. Those are like the garbage collectors. It had to remove the food that fell on the houses and sidewalks and lawns. The workers cleaned things up after every meal and fed all the dogs and cats. Then they emptied some of it into the surrounding oceans for the fish and turtles and whales to eat. The rest of the food was put back into the earth so that the soil would be richer for the people's flower gardens. So look, this truck has a plate on the front of it and a fork and a spoon to pick up all the extra food that falls from the sky so that they can put it away and get it out of the streets. Life for the townspeople was delicious until the weather took a turn for the worse. Look, here is a newspaper and it says, "Spaghetti ties town up." Uh-oh, look, when they had too much spaghetti come down from the sky, it was a big mess. It made a big mess in the streets that people couldn't even drive or walk. Man, that's crazy. One day, there was nothing but gorgonzola all day long. The next day, there was only broccoli, overcooked. Yuck! Would you like to eat broccoli all day long? Maybe you really like broccoli. Maybe you would like that, though. I don't know. Some people really like broccoli. The next day, there were Brussels sprouts and peanut butter with mayonnaise. Would you like to eat that together? I think that would be a really interesting combination. I don't think I would like to eat those things together. Another day, there was pea soup fog. No one could see where they were going, and they could barely find the rest of the meal that got stuck in the fog. So it seems like there are some problems in this town of Chew and Swallow. Sometimes the food weather gets crazy, right? The food was getting larger and larger, and so were the portions. The people were getting frightened. Violent storms blew up frequently. Awful things were happening. One Tuesday, there was a hurricane of bread and rolls all day long and into the night. There were soft rolls and hard rolls, some with seeds and some without. There was white bread and rye and whole wheat toast. Most of it was larger than they'd ever seen bread and rolls before. It was a terrible day. Everyone had to stay indoors. Roofs were damaged, and the sanitation department was beside itself. The mess took the workers 4 days to clean up, and the sea was full of floating rolls. Look. Oh my goodness, there's so many rolls. It's a big mess. To help out, the people piled up as much bread as they could in their backyards. The birds picked at it a bit, but it just stayed there and got staler and staler. Man, Chew and Swallow sounds nice, but there are some problems with it, right? Sometimes there's some problems with the food that comes down from the sky, right? Do you think they can fix their problems? We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens in our story. Let's keep on reading, all right? Uh-oh, there's a giant pancake. There was a storm of pancakes one morning and a downpour of maple syrup that nearly flooded the town. A huge pancake covered the school. No one could get it off because of its weight, so they had to close the school. Oh boy. Lunch one day brought 15-inch drifts of cream cheese and jelly sandwiches. Everyone ate themselves sick and ended the day with a stomach ache. Oh no. There was an awful salt and pepper wind, accompanied by an even worse tomato tornado. People were sneezing themselves silly and running to avoid the tomatoes. The town was a mess. There were seeds and pulp everywhere. Oh, man. The sanitation department gave up. The job was too big. Everyone feared for their lives. It sounds really dangerous, right? Look at all this giant food in the street. Seems really dangerous. They couldn't go outside most of the time. Many houses had been badly damaged by giant meatballs. Stores were boarded up and there was no more school for the children. So a decision was made to abandon the town of Chew and Swallow. Do you know what abandon means? It means to leave. They're going to leave their town because the food weather was just too crazy. It was too dangerous. It says it was a matter of survival. Look at all the giant food. This is kind of funny. This guy has a giant noodle on his head. He can't even see where he's going. Oh no. Oh my. Oh boy. People glued together the giant pieces of stale bread and sandwiches, sandwich style, with peanut butter. Look, there you can see. They make some giant sandwiches. What do you think they're going to do with them? Let's see. Took the absolute necessities with them and set sail on their rafts for a new land. All right, so they made them into boats. You can see they put cheese as their sails. Cool. Cheese as their sails. It looks like there's a shark in the water and he took a bite out of their boat. I guess he wanted some of the sandwich. Where are they going? Let's see. After being afloat for a week, they finally reached a small coastal town which welcomed them. The bread had held up surprisingly well enough for them to build temporary houses for themselves out of it. So look, here you can see the houses that they built in the new land. That's their new place to live. Cool. The children began school again, and the adults all tried to find places for themselves in the new land. The biggest change they had to make was, what do you think? Was getting used to buying food at a supermarket, right? Because now in this new place, food does not come down from the sky. They need to make food themselves and they need to go buy it at the grocery store. They don't have food weather anymore. They found it odd that the food was kept on shelves, packaged in boxes, cans, and bottles. Meat that had to be cooked was kept in large refrigerators. Nothing came down from the sky except rain and snow. The clouds above their heads were not made of fried eggs. No one ever got hit by a hamburger again. And nobody dared go back to Chew and Swallow to find out what had happened. They were too afraid. Now, remember, the whole time this was the story that their grandpa was telling them. Henry and I were awake until the very end of Grandpa's story. I remember his goodnight kiss. The next morning, we woke up to see snow. falling outside our window. We ran downstairs for breakfast and ate a little faster than usual so that we could go sledding with Grandpa. It's funny, but even as we were sliding down the hill, we thought we saw a giant piece of butter at the top, and we could almost smell mashed potatoes. So they're imagining that the snowy hill is mashed potatoes and the sun at the top is butter, just like in their story last night. The end. That's the end of our story. So again, that book is called Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I really love that story. It's fun to think about what would our world be like if food came down from the sky? Would it be fun or would it be dangerous and crazy? And sometimes maybe it wouldn't be so fun if like broccoli came down from the sky all the time. Maybe that wouldn't be so fun. I don't know. It's a fun story to read. So thanks for hanging out with me during this time, and let's say goodbye to our animal friends that were joining us for our story tonight, because again, it is Zoo Animal Week here on Get Your Play Online. So let's say bye to Nemo, and bye to Dory, and bye to Crush, and bye to Little Squirt. Alright, so thanks for joining me for another story time here at Get Your Play Online. My name is Sarah, and I'm so glad that we could hang out together during this time. I hope you sleep super well tonight, and I hope that you'll join us tomorrow for our final day in our zoo animal themed week, and then I hope you'll join us for another story time and for as we finish out the rest of our summer, as we have themed weeks and some awesome stuff up our sleeves for all of you people out there. So thanks for joining us. Bye, everyone.